Hello and welcome. My name's Ben Stockwell, the Associate Director here at Ray White in Brisbane Apartments. Today I'm joined by a very special guest, someone who I've dragged in from the office and is one of our best-selling agents in the Brisbane city. Her name is Kirsten Walsh and she is the #1 selling agent here in the Brisbane city. And I wanted everyone to meet her face to face and get an idea of what the market's been doing. We're heading towards the first quarter of the year. And I really wanted to give everyone a bit of an update on, I guess, what's happening in the sales market. I talk a lot, obviously, in the rental sense, so it'll be a really good opportunity for Kirsten to say g'day and give us some really good insights. So good morning, Kirsten. Thanks
Hello,
for joining me.
Yes, thanks for having me on today.
So I'm just going to ask Kirsten some short and simple questions so it can give us a really good indicator of what's going on. So let's talk about, Kirsten, what's happened in January and February. So like I said, we are moving into the first quarter of the year.
Yes.
Compared to December, for example, how's the market shaping up for the year?
Well, the market actually is looking still very positive. We're still seeing a very strong buyer demand. What we are noticing is with the one-bedroom market, we're probably seeing that has been the sector that's been thriving the most. A lot of investors are coming still into the market. Self-managed super fund buyers, along with the traditional investor. They're definitely a lot more of what we're seeing, and we are seeing a lot of a higher influx of investors, particularly around the one-bedroom sector at the moment.
Interesting. And let's like break that down a little bit more, I think. So when we're talking about, I guess, the buyers themselves, so have we seen an increase in buyer activity for January and February compared to sort of the later part of last year? And is that typical?
Yeah, I mean, normally what we do find, December does seem to be a bit more of a quieter month, but I think this year we did find it to be still quite active. So things haven't really slowed down as such. It's just been a progression through from December to this first quarter of the year.
Amazing. And is there anything in particular buyers are looking for? So we mentioned just now, obviously there's a lot of investors coming into the market. Are they looking for anything in particular when they're looking at our properties at the moment?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, well, a lot of them are investors. Obviously, you've got owner-occupiers and investors, but we're talking about the investors at the moment. What they're just looking for high yields. So properties that they can take over, they can purchase, they don't have to necessarily do a lot of work to, that they can just continue on as an investment with as minimal hassle as possible.
Okay, amazing. And then we sort of touched on the owner-occupier market. So let's talk about that a little bit.
Yes.
What are they looking for in apartments at the moment in the Brisbane city?
Well, like anything, 2-bedroom, 2 bathrooms are always very popular. We are finding sub 850 is where the high demand is at the moment, and properties that they can move into. So properties that don't have long leases, so anything over 3 months, 6 months is usually ideal for the owner-occupier. It means that they can move in straight away.
All right. And I guess we should frame this, but is there anything our investors should know if they are looking to sell their property as they move throughout this year? So anything that, any of our investors that we're currently working with, is there anything that they need to be doing?
Yeah, well, one thing that I would recommend to investors would just be keeping the maintenance of the property. So for instance, if lights and things need to be done, making sure that those are, upgraded.
Yeah.
When there are maybe opportunities between tenants, so when a tenant vacates before a new tenant moves in, if the carpet needs to be done, do the carpet, do a fresh coat of paint.
Yeah.
While you have that opportunity, while we're still looking for a tenant, so we still minimise the vacancy, but you're still adding value to the property, because if you do decide to sell down the track and there is a tenant in place, which we work with 80% of properties are tenanted, it's just going to help the investor or the owner-occupier to walk through, and there's going to be little effort for them to have to do, so they're going to be more likely to place an offer and potentially pay a high price, because you're taking that difficulty of them having to paint, carpet, you've already done it.
Yeah.
So I do feel like that would be something.
Look, that's going to resonate with a lot of our investors, especially if you're watching my videos on a regular basis. We're obviously big into the upgrades at the moment in 2025, and it's certainly making a profound impact. We've recently done some case studies, which I'll be sharing with the group, all of our investors as well, where we've seen, I guess, the works that we've been able to complete from the Investment Solutions Department of Ray White in Brisbane Apartments, where we've done those upgrades to the floors, to the paintwork and some of the other facilities. Like we did a full kitchen reno and a few other things. What we've seen is we've then converted that into what is the capital growth going to look like. So we've got some updated appraisals compared to the originals, and we've seen some really significant growth. I just recently did one a little bit of out of area, which might be a little bit controversial, but in Nunda, the landlord there bought at 550. They put in $80,000 worth of renovations, and now we've obviously reappraised that particular property. Not only have we been able to achieve a fantastic rental price for that area, but in addition to that, they've added an extra 100K to what we think that we could get in the current market. We're also doing a lot in the Brisbane city of that sort of case studies as well, a lot in Gotha Street, and then we were also expanding into 108 Festival, 128 Charlotte, 151 George Street. So we're doing a lot of that sort of activity. So for any of our investors, it's certainly worthwhile asking the question. And what we say, not to waffle on too much, but it's worthwhile asking the question so that we can engage someone like Kirsten Walsh to be able to appraise the property as is, work out how much we've got to spend, and then be able to say to ourselves, okay, well, let's spend about $10,000 here. We've got more than enough equity in the property to be able to make it manageable. If you need financial assistance or evaluation of your loans, that's where we'd bring in our partners from Loan Market with Andrew Thompson and the team, and we'd be able to, I guess, really do a full evaluation of what's going to work for you specifically. Just to round out this so I don't go on too long, I would just finish with a couple of different things. We had a fantastic month in February on the rental side. So we had 2,486 inquiries come through our particular office. That translated into 11 inspections. So that's 11 open homes per day for our rental side of things. In addition to that, on average, we've got 4 applications per property at the moment and 50 let for the month. Our rents are continuing to increase. We are obviously expanding forever, trying to push those rents as high as the market will offer. And we are obviously the market leaders in the Brisbane city in that area. So that's just a quick, I guess, update on what we're seeing there. As we come into the March, obviously, month, we are still very optimistic, lots of activity at the moment. So we're still obviously in the busy period. So January, February, March. And then as we sort of move towards April, we have 8 Margaret Street, which is settling, which is the Queen's Wharf development. So it'll be really interesting to see how the market reacts to that and how much stock is going to come into the long-term market. I know there's a lot of people in that building looking at short terms, but there is also a lot of people looking at the long terms as well. So that's going to round out our February market update from the rental side. From a sales side, I think we've got a pretty good gist from Miss Kirsten Walsh here. The market is continuing to move, and certainly something to keep the fingers on the pulse with. Our whole entire sales team is available to you as well. If you are ever needing a market appraisal, you must always engage a professional and the market leaders to make sure that you obviously get the highest possible price. I will continue to tell everyone that we consistently on average get 10 to 15% more than any other agent, which I think Kirsten will back up. Yes. But instead of me actually telling you this always, ask Kirsten and ask one of the sales team to produce the results. Show me what this looks like. How did you get that? What strategies do you obviously engage on a day-to-day? I can't talk about it because I'm not the professional. I'll leave that to Kirsten specifically. Yes. But again, that rounds out our February market update. And thank you so much for your time, Kirsten.
Yeah, no, it's been a pleasure just giving a little bit of insight as well. So as Ben was saying, if there is anything that you do need, I'm always here to help, and just reach out.
Amazing. Thank you so much.